my loves, Molweni igama lam ndinguZizipho Nzwana and I go by Zizipho_Nzwana on my social media platforms. And if you're new here, thank you so much, my love, for stopping by. I hope you have hit that subscribe button so that you can become part of the family and you have that notification bell on. You can be notified whenever there's new content uploaded. And to my returning loves, thank you so much once again for stopping by. I hope you will definitely enjoy yet another video. So this is a makeup tutorial video where I will be showing you guys how I actually achieved this gorgeous look. And yeah, I hope you'll definitely enjoy it, and whatever tips that I shared here, you will definitely apply them on your makeup routine. So let's get right into it. Gonna go in with my brows. Before I go in, I'm gonna first set them with a setting powder from LA Girl in the shade Banana Yellow, and I'll first decant a powder on this lid so that I can pick the product up. I'm gonna use a damp blending sponge to pick up the product and set my brows. And then I'm going to use a powder brush to remove excess product. Now I'm going to follow in with my brow lifting gel set from Essence. And it comes with a small spoolie to pick up the product. I'm just going to dip my spoolie and then I'm going to start with my brows. And then I'm going to use the back of this spoolie to flatten my brows. And then I'm going to let my brows air dry before I go in with my brow pencil. Now I'm going to go in with my brow pencil. Make sure your brow pencil is very sharp before you go in with it on your brows, especially if you want to draw those defined lines. And then I'm going to sharpen my brow pencil again before I go to the left side so that I can get those defined lines. So now that I'm done with my brows, It's important to ensure that you go in with a concealer so that you can correct any mistakes that you may have made when you were drawing your brows. Clean up my under eye, and I'm gonna go in with a combination of my concealer and my foundation so that I can get the correct shade for the concealer that I want. I'm gonna go in with LA Girl Pro Conceal High Definition Concealer in the shade Toast. And then the foundation that I'm going to be mixing with the concealer is LA Girl Pro Coverage High Definition Long Wear Illuminating Foundation in the shade Tan. I'm just going to use a small pump at the back of my hand. And then I'm also going to use a small pump from the concealer so that I can mix them and get a thicker consistency, because this foundation is more on the liquidish side and the concealer is more on the thicker side. So I'm going to use my flat concealer brush to mix these two products, and then I'm going to use it to clean my brows. Now that I've mixed these two products, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start at the corner of my brows. Then I go in front. I'm gonna blend my eyelids with my concealer brush to blend, and then we're gonna go on top of my brows to conceal them. And with the top brows, I'm gonna be using the foundation that I'll be using on my face. And for my foundation, I'm gonna go in with my Revlon Color Stay Full Cover Foundation in 425 Matte. And this is the foundation that I'm gonna be using to conceal the top part of my brows. With the same concealer brush, I'm gonna pick up the product and then I'm gonna go on top of my brows. Guys, it is also important to fix your brows as much as you can until you are satisfied. Your concealers will help you to fix those mistakes you have done when you were drawing your brows. And it will also help you determine how thick you want your brows to be like. So now I'm gonna blend my concealers and then we're gonna go in with my eyeshadow. And then I'm going to use my damp blending sponge to blend. So I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer on my eyelids. The reason I'm going in with this type of concealer is because I want to use it as a primer so that my eyeshadow sticks and it pops out nicely. I'm going to use my concealer brush to blend in the product. And then I'm going to start with my eyeshadow. So for my eyeshadow, I'll be going in with my Hermosa Flow Cosmetics Daisy Eyeshadow Palette. And I am actually going for a cute bright look. And the colors or the shades that I'm going to be using from this palette is It's New, Happiness, and Dawn. My transition color will be a very dark shade, which is I'm going to first go in with Happiness, then follow with New. So to pick up the eyeshadow, I'm going to use this nice fluffy brush. And I'm going to first go in with Happiness. And I'm going to place the product just at the crease of my eyelids. Kindly note, I am using very light pressure to apply the product and also blend it in. And then I'm gonna go in with my next shade, which is New, using a very fluffy brush to blend my eyeshadow. And then now I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealer. And I'm gonna use this concealer to cut my crease. So I'm gonna place a bit of product at the back and I'm gonna use my concealer brush to pick up the product and outline my cut crease. Now I'm gonna go and draw my cut crease. And then I'm gonna pick up Dawn and apply it on my cut crease. I'll be using this flat dense brush to pick up the eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna go directly onto my cut crease. And then I'm gonna go in with the happiness shade again to blend the outer parts of the eyeshadow. And we are done with my eyeshadow. I'm now gonna start with the base of my face, then go in with my foundation. So now I'm gonna go in with my wipes to clean my face and any fallouts before I go in with my base and foundation. So I was just cleaning any fallouts I got from the eyeshadow, and then I'm gonna go in with my base and foundation. So for my base, I will use my LA Go Pro Prep Moisturizer Nourishing Face Primer, and I'm gonna apply it on my face. And then I'm gonna go in with my Keep Me Matte Long Lasting Oil Free Pore Refining Anti-Shine Base from Catrice Cosmetics. And I'm gonna apply this on the spots that I normally get oily and I want to keep them matte. Now that I'm done with this, I am gonna go in with my Color Stay Full Cover Foundation in matte and in the shade 425. Kindly note, if you do have a flat foundation brush, you can use it to apply your foundation and then you can blend in with your blending sponge or your foundation brush. I prefer to first blend in with a foundation brush and then go in with a damp blending sponge. I'm gonna use my angled foundation brush to blend in my foundation. And kindly notice I am not using a dragging motion to blend in my foundation. I am using a tapping motion using light pressure. And then I'm gonna go in with my damp blending sponge to blend my foundation again. Now I'm gonna go in with my LA Pro Conceal and in the shade Fawn. I'm gonna highlight my under eye. And then I'm gonna use my concealer brush to blend in the concealer. I'm gonna go in with my damp blending sponge to blend in my concealer properly. And then I'm gonna pinch my blending sponge to use it in the corners of my eyes. So I'm gonna use this LA Girl Matte Flat Finish Pigment Gloss as my cream blush. And I'm gonna first start with one side at a time. I'm gonna be using my damp blending sponge to blend in this cream blush. I'm gonna use one side from the blending sponge to blend in the cream blush. And then I'm gonna go to the other side. And this is how my blush looks like. And this is a Pro Matte High Definition Long Wear Matte Foundation in the shade Espresso, and I'm gonna use this to contour my face. I'm gonna use a small pump at the back of my hand, and I'm gonna use a concealer brush to apply this product to the spots that I want to sculpture or I want to contour. So I'm gonna use my foundation from LA Girl to contour my face. And then I'm going to use my foundation brush to blend these in. And then I'm going to use a small eyeshadow brush to actually blend my contour on the nose. So I'm going to go in again with my concealer to highlight my under eye for the last time. And then I'm going to go in with the rest of my face. And then I'm going to go in with my damp blending sponge to blend in the concealer. So now I'm going to go in with my setting powder to set my highlighter and my contour. I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pro powder in banana yellow. I'm going to use one side of the damp blending sponge. I'm going to place it at the back of my hand to remove excessive product on the beauty blending sponge. And then I'm going to go in under my eyes. Make sure when you are going to set your under eye, you remove any creases that are there so that when you are setting your under eye, it does not have visible creases under your eyes. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. First, gonna blend. I'm gonna place the product. And then I'm gonna set my nose. I'm gonna use this brush to apply my contour powder. And I'm gonna go with this shade. I'm gonna go in with this dark shade. Yee. And then I'm gonna use the same eyeshadow brush that I used to blend my contour to set my contour. Always blend. Always blend. I'm gonna go in with my matte blush contour collection from Beauty Treats. And I'm gonna use this angled brush to apply my blush. I'm gonna go in with this shade in the middle, and I'm gonna make sure that I do not pick up too much product as it is very pigmented. So I'll pick up my product, and when I'm placing it on my blush, I will just use a light pressure to apply it until I'm satisfied with the pigment on it. Yeah. Also, if you feel like there's too much pigment on your blush, you can always use your damp blending sponge to actually blend out the product. And then for my highlighter, I'm gonna go back to my Hermosa Flow Cosmetics Daisy eyeshadow palette, and I'm gonna use Dawn to highlight the parts that I want to be glowy. My waterline, I'm gonna go in with my black eyeliner pencil from MAC Studio. My eyes are very teary. I'm just gonna wait a bit till my eyes dry and then I can go in with my eyeliner. And then I'm gonna follow in with my mascara. My mascaras are both from LA Girl, just that the other one's wording is no longer visible. I'm gonna go in with my NYX LA Girl Fiber Lash mascara. It's a 3D dimensional mascara. So now with this flat brush, I'm gonna smoken up my waterline with the shade Happiness from the Hermosa Flow Cosmetics Daisy Eyeshadow Palette. And then I'm gonna go in with my brown lip liner to outline my lips. And then I'm gonna fill the middle part of my lips with my Scarlet Hill Pucker Up Lip Gloss in matte. I'm gonna let this air dry and then I'm gonna go in with my lip gloss. So I'm now gonna go in with my Quick Face Nude Gloss and I'm gonna apply it on my lips. And then this is how my face looks like. I am now gonna use my Essence Instant Matte Makeup Setting Spray to set my face, and then I'm gonna be done with my face. So we have reached the end of this video, my loves. If you have tuned in till this far, thank you so much. I guess this is the end of the video. I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Mwah.